Hey, thanks for checking out my video today. I will be doing an entire makeup look using nothing but dupes of the Artis makeup brush collection. So if you'd like to see how I did it, just keep watching. Now I am going to apologize. Somehow I managed to not plug in my extension cord. So please keep in mind that this is my third video I'm making. I'm going to also be using the Laura Lee Voss Eye Palette collection that I just got my hands on, so I'm very excited to use this. It is very rich, very buttery, very pigmented. So I really love the colors on this, and I can't wait to give this a try as well. Now, as for the brushes I'll be using, these are by Kinks, and I actually got these off of Amazon. I have a link down below for you if you're interested in purchasing them. This is actually the second package that I got from them, so I wanted to make sure that I had a brand new set so I could show you just how you can use them directly right out of the box. And you also want to be very careful because I did purchase some other ones off of eBay and I really didn't have very good success with them. They really just fell apart and I had a horrible time trying to get my money back on them and get them returned, and it was just a horrible nightmare. But let me grab those and I'm going to show you what they look like. Here I'm going to show you one of them really close up. You can see that it just has a lot of the bristles falling out. And I have just tried to get it to stop from doing this, but it's just shedding really, really bad. And I don't want that all over my foundation, all over my face. So here's another one, and just to show you, it's not just the one brush, it's all of them that are shedding really bad like this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit better so you can get a closer look at that as well. But gosh, I just don't want this anywhere near my face. So you may have noticed I'm also speeding this up because we don't want this video to be, you know, an hour long. But anyway, back to the brushes. We'll definitely be using these. I love them. I highly recommend them. I want to say they ran like $21, $22, so great bargain. I do have an Artis brush, and I want to say I spent like $55 or $60 on that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I will be using a new product for me. This is the Almay Correcting Primer, and this is a green color, but don't worry, it doesn't turn your face green. I've used it a few times now, and I really like the consistency. It's not heavy on my skin, and it's actually quite hydrating. So now I'm going to grab my NYX, and this is actually a highlighting pencil. Normally I would use some sort of a color correcting in a peach or an orange, but I didn't happen to have one in front of me, so since this has a little bit of a peach tone to it, I went ahead and used this. And then I have that Kinks that I am grabbing the flat round brush, and I'm just gently tapping that product in under my eye. I'm not pulling or dragging, just gently tapping that in. And then also using that same brush, I'm going to just put a tiny, tiny little bit of my It Cosmetics Bye Bye Concealer, and that's in light. Just doing the same thing. I'm just going to lightly tap that into my entire under eye area. I was born with very dark under eye circles, so if you don't have that same problem I do, you can certainly skip this step and just go straight in with your concealer. Lucky you, but I'm afraid that's a couple extra steps I do need to take. So again, I'm just lightly blending that in. Then we're going to go ahead and pick up the flat, larger brush, and I'm going to be using that to apply my concealer. Today I'm going to be using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick, and I am in the color 120 Y245. And I'm going to be applying that stick all over my face. Now on the brush itself, what you want to do is hold it by the handle and then have your index finger right on the very back of the brush head. And you just want to keep a little bit of an even pressure on that. You don't want to have the brush firmly against your face where you're going to be applying a lot of pressure. You want to let the brush do the work. And if you press too hard, you're just going to end up getting streaks all over your face, so that's going to defeat the whole purpose of that. So do make sure that you bring this all the way down on your neck, just like you would your regular foundation. Blend, 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 add extra if you need to in any of the areas. and make sure you get it right into the hairline. But you're going to find that your makeup goes on so fast and so flawless, and you're just not going to believe how quickly you can get your foundation applied. So as I finish buffing that in, again, you want to make sure that you just use a very light hand on that. That's where I made the mistake when I first started using this. I kept wondering, why do I have these streaks across my face? It's because I was trying to buff it in just like I was using my regular kabuki brush. So you have to get used to using this a totally different way than you use your regular brushes. So once again, I need to go in now, put on my third layer of concealer for those dark circles under my eyes. So I'm once again back to my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Concealer in the same shade of light. And I'm using that same brush to go ahead and lightly tap that in place. If you have any concerns about how cakey this might end up looking because we are older women and do have the fine lines and the wrinkles, don't worry about it, I got you covered. I have figured out a way to conceal those and make them far less noticeable. So now we're on to layer number 4, and this is the Naked Skin, and this is a color corrector. I like to use this to really brighten the under eye area, and this is in pink. And I just do the regular V shape in that, and then I'm going to go in with a larger brush and lightly tap that out as well, just as if I was using a beauty blender to buff that out. And be careful that you don't bring that up onto your nose. I like to kind of turn the brush onto its side when I get near the inner part of my eye, so I don't bring any of that concealer up onto my nose. And then anything that's excess on my brush, I'll go ahead and take it down the top of my nose, my chin, as well as my forehead. So just those regular areas that you would go ahead and highlight with any concealer as well. Now I want to make sure that we set that concealer as well. So I'm going to be picking up this small oval brush, and I will be using my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. What I like to do is just tap that brush into the powder, just get a little bit on, and then lightly tap that under my eye. But as I tap, I'm pressing firmly. You want to make sure that you get any of the creases and wrinkles out first before you apply this. So I do like to go back over it again with that same brush I was using to apply my concealer. And I will go ahead and put that same powder all over my lid. I'll go into my smile lines doing the same thing around my nose as well, because I do have a problem with my foundation separating around my nose because I get a little oily. And then I also like to take it in the areas because I tend to do the resting of the chin on the hand and also on my forehead. So I find that if I put a little bit of extra powder and just really press that in, that really does help me from having my makeup wear off in those areas. So I do like to go in and really press that in before I actually go in and set my powder all over my face. Now to do that, I'm going to pick up another brush, and this is where I'm going to still use the Laura Mercier powder. And I'm going to start patting that in really well onto my forehead. This is where I'm showing you how I will rest my forehead into my hand, and then also into my chin area there. So again, I'm just tapping it in, and that also really helps make those smile lines disappear as well. And then I'm going to go in and just press this all over my face very lightly, because we want to make sure that we set everything, because that's going to really help when we go in and do our contouring and add our bronzer and our blush and our highlighter. We just want to make sure that everything is set and really ready to go. Just remember, at this point in time, you are not using any pressure. I am doing this very, very lightly. You will see that I am rubbing this in a little bit, but I am using such a light hand with this. I'm not using any pressure, and I'm letting the brush do the work. I'm not forcing this in. I'm just lightly tapping it. So now we're going to go in and do our contour, and for this I'm going to pick up this long linear brush. This one has a great curve shape to it, but it is perfect for going in and applying your contour. So I'll be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'll be using this medium color. And first I'm going to go in and just apply a line right along in the shallows of my cheeks there. And then I'm going to go right along my jawline, and look how quick and easy it is to go along and get just a straight line along your jaw, as well as along the nose. So this is the perfect way to get that perfectly straight nose contour by using this brush. So anybody who's ever been afraid of contouring your nose because of that, this is the goof-proof way to do it. And just like any other contouring, we do need to go in and buff that out. So I am grabbing that larger oval brush, and I'm going to go in straight lines and just lightly buff that all out. Again, no pressure. I'm just using a light hand on this. Now we're going to go in and use our bronzer. So I'm going to use that same brush again, and I'm going to tap into the bronzer. This one is the Essence Sun Club. Smells like chocolate. It smells so yummy. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my normal bronzing areas up above my cheekbones there, and then onto my temples and down to my jawline as well. Don't be afraid of this looking a little harsh at first, because I am going to go in and blend everything out. And neatness really doesn't count at this point in time, as long as you get it in the proper areas. It's all going to blend out perfectly here in just a little bit. And then I'm going to move on to my highlighter. For that I'm using the Makeup Revolution, and this is their Ultra Blush Palette, which is filled with all kinds of highlighters and blushes, and I'm using that beautiful golden color that they have in there. I'm going to go back to this smaller brush to go ahead and apply that. If you notice, I'm using a lot of these brushes over and over again, so as long as you wipe them clean on just a tissue or something like that, you are just fine on going ahead and reusing them. So I'm also bringing that right down the nose, onto the temples, as well as the cheek area, because Mama's got to have her glow going on. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the Wet n Wild Apricot in the middle blush. And be a little careful, because these brushes will really pick up anything that's pigmented. It will be intensified because they really pack on the product. And I always say, when you blush, you don't blush in one color naturally. So I follow it up with the second shade, and I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me blush in the color Light Rose. And this is really important. You have to use a pressed powder, and it has to have color to it. So I love the L'Oreal True Match powder in color C2. That matches my skin tone. And what you really want to do is load up your brush, and this time you're going to use a lot of pressure, and you're really going to buff that in all over your skin using circular motions, and just keeping that brush really loaded up with the powder, and going over and over and over and over it again until you feel that everything is just completely buffed in. That's going to really blend everything in, make it look like it's all one with your skin. Your pores are going to shrink, your fine lines and your wrinkles are all going to, I wish I could say disappear, but they're going to be lessened. So this really does make a big difference. I wish I could show you in this video how big of a difference it makes, but in person is when you really will see the difference with that. And remember, this time don't be afraid to use a lot of pressure. You're not going to be taking any product off at this point in time, because you've already set all of your makeup with the loose powder. So nothing's going to be taken off. It's all going to stay in place. Let me zoom you in, and I'll show you the one side of my face where I have actually gone ahead and done the buffing technique. And again, it's not going to show as well here as it does in person, but it does make a huge difference. So go ahead and give it a try. Again, it's makeup. It washes off, ladies. So let me do the other side of my face, just so I am even and flawless and gorgeous. And trust me, these are things I have tried over and over again over time to get my makeup technique down. And I always love to try new things, so I'm game for things. I love to try it out and learn new things. Some things work and some things don't. I'll be your guinea pig. Now, I did mention that there is no type of a spoolie in this kit. So luckily my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer does have a spoolie on one end, and I am in the color blonde. So I'll be using the spoolie to go ahead and comb through my brows. And since this is just a daytime casual look, I love using this. It's quick and easy to just get a real natural brow. And I used to use the Brow Wiz, and that gave a very defined look to my brows, but it was very time consuming. And you can see just how quick and easy it is to use this. My brows literally take me probably all of 2 minutes now, where they used to take me probably 15 to 20 minutes. So yay, Anastasia, for creating this. Thank you so much. All right, this is the part I have been dying to get to. This is the Laura Lee collaboration with Violet Voss eyeshadow palette. As you can see, these colors are simply gorgeous. They are buttery, they are rich, and I just love them. So I'm going to go in with the round dome-shaped brush with the color Apri-Cot, and I will be putting that into my crease area, and actually kind of an upper crease area, because I do have hooded eyes a little bit. So I'm going to be putting that all over where I would normally put my transition color. Now go ahead and repeat that on the other eye. That way we are evened out on both areas. Next I'm going to take the color Mama Bird, and I'm going to go a little bit closer into the crease so I can start to create the ombre effect. Now, since I have hooded eyes, I do like to go in and create a faux cut crease. To do that, I'm going to take this linear brush and I'm going to tap a little bit into the color Whiskers in the palette. And by looking straight ahead in the mirror, what I want to do, since my crease disappears, is go just right above my crease line there and just draw in a faux crease. So I'm not going to do this heavy, I'm just going to do it very, very lightly, and we're going to blend this out really well, but it's going to give the appearance of having a crease when people wouldn't normally see one. So I'm going to make sure that I put that right above where my skin folds over my eyes, and then on the outside of my eyes I want to draw a little line that goes straight up to the outside of my brows. That's going to help lift my eyes, make them long, and lift everything up. So I will also connect the line that I drew across the top to that outer corner. So I'm going to create kind of an outside upside down V. And then I'm going to go in with the color Mama Bird. That's kind of a deeper orange, and I'm going to go a little bit closer into the crease with that. And then I'm going to follow that up with Ragamuffin. And now we're going to go on to the lid, and I'm going to use this gorgeous color called Tickled Pink. And for that, I'm going to go into about the inner 2/3 of my eye with Tickled Pink. I'm going to go all over the lid, and what's great about using these brushes is it really helps you get the product on. It really packs it on there. Since these brushes are synthetic, they don't hold on to the product like a natural brush would. So they don't absorb it, they don't hold on to it. It's much easier to get any of your product off of the brush, and it just puts it where it's supposed to be instead of keeping it in the brush. So you use a lot less of the product as well. That's another thing you're going to have to get used to, using these types of brushes. Okay, now we're going to go back in time and we're going to pick up the color 1988. So, do you remember what you were doing in 1988? I was a mother to a 3-year-old daughter at that point in time. So leave me a comment down below and tell me what you were doing in 1988. But anyway, back to the color. I'm going to pick that up and put that on the outer third of my eye. I'm not taking that all the way to the outside because I'm going to leave room for one more color. just basically making a little stripe right down the outer center of my eye. And then on the very outer part, we're going to go into this really beautiful, kind of a deep reddish, burnt orangish color called Rammer Jammer. I love the name that Laura Lee came up with for all these colors. Anyway, we're going to do that on the very outer third, kind of in a V shape, and I'm going to take that just into my crease just a little bit. And I apologize for going off screen here. I was getting a little too close to my makeup mirror. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I am actually taking the 1988 color on one of the small linear brushes, and I'm putting that on my lower lash line all the way across. And then I'm taking the color Rammer Jammer on the outer corner of my lower lash line. And then I'm also going to go in with the color Whiskers, which is a dark matte brown. And I'm going to go really, really tightly along my lower lash line and right along my upper lash line as well. Very, very lightly. I'm not doing a heavy hand on that at all. Now I know this next step gets a few of you a little nervous if you've never tried this before, but trust me, you are not going to poke your eye out. What I like to do is take my L'Oreal Infallible Matte pencil, and this is in black, and I will tight line my waterline. So I'll do both the bottom and the upper, and I'm just gently going along. It's not sharp, it's rounded at the end. I've never poked myself in the eye, no matter what type of a pencil I've used. And it really just makes your eyes pop when you do this. It really also helps make your mascara kind of blend in with your eyes instead of just being so stark and making it look like they're just kind of hanging out there in space. So I really like to do that tight lining as well. And before I go in with my mascara, I am going to give my eyelashes one last curl. And of course, there is no eyelash curler in this type of a makeup brush kit, so it's okay to cheat on this and use a eyelash curler. For my mascara, I am using my Roller Lash by Benefit. This is my all-time favorite. I know some people are going to have a love-hate relationship with any mascara, so you do what works for you. I know some things that I love, people hate. Some things that other people love, I hate. So find the mascara that works for you, and I'm sorry that I have ducked my head down, but again, I'm getting a little too close for the mirror, so I do realize I need to raise my mirror up a little bit higher, so I will not be doing that anymore. But what I really like about this is generally I can get away with doing just one coat, and it dries nice and quick for me. I also like to start with my lower lashes. I find if I start with my top lashes, when I open my eyes to get to my lower lashes, then that wet mascara then transfers all over my upper lid. So just a little trick there. And if you ever do mess up and get mascara anywhere on your face or your eyelids, don't freak out and try and wipe it off right away. Let it dry, let it sit there. When it's completely dry, you'll be able to wipe it away because it's just going to be dry and flake right off. So otherwise, if you do it when it's wet, it's just going to create a huge mess and you're just going to do nothing but wipe it all over the place. And a little spritz now of my makeup setting spray. I use the Maybelline Master Fix Face Studio. And we need some lips on, of course. And I just picked up this new shade by Milani, which is called Loved. And I tell you, I loved this shade. This is their Amore Matte Lip Cream. And this lip cream is so moisturizing and so creamy and so hydrating on my lips. I just love it. This is my second color I picked up. And so far, I'm loving it. Now, it's not a liquid lipstick, so it is going to transfer. It is going to wear off. It is going to get all over your teeth, so make sure you check your teeth as well. But this is the finished look. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you can bear with me while I stumble through all of my lighting and audio problems that I'm having. I'm working on it. I will get it down. But thanks again for watching. Please do subscribe, and I'm sorry this was so long. I'll get them shorter. Also, if you haven't checked out my other 2 videos, please feel free to do so, and don't forget to follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks. Bye-bye.